प्रिय श्रोता बंधु 90.4 मेगाहर्ज रे आपण माने सुनुछंती रेवेन्सा रेडियो ओडिसा रा प्रथम कैंपस कम्युनिटी रेडियो स्टेशन.
Hello, Katak. A very good afternoon to all of my listeners. Today's show is RTI, an introductory. And hosting today is me, RJ Rojalini,
and RJ Arpita
from Ravenshaw Radio 90.4 FM.
So, RTI or Right to Information Act is a fundamental right of Indian citizens to seek the information that would affect their crucial decisions in life.
We have our guest with us, Mr. Manoranjan Panda, a media educator, assistant professor of MJMC from IMS, Institute of Media Studies from Bhubaneswar, who will enlighten us about right to information and the whole concept of it, how it works, what it's for, and welcome, Mr. Panda.
Hello.
Your first question is, right to information has been with us since almost a decade, to be clear. Please explain us what is right to information.
As you know, right to information is the part of our fundamental rights of freedom of speech and expression. So our constitution provides a freedom, that is freedom of speech and expression. So we have a freedom to know. So if we have a expression, we want some information to express. As a common citizen, they lack some information data to express in the public. So that's why after the independence, so there was a controversy on different subjects, so where the Supreme Court and High Court adjudicated in different matters, and they decided the citizens should have some kind of legislation or some kind of rights through which they can seek information from the government entities or government establishments. Then they can enlighten themselves and they can aware about the happenings. Then they can participate in the discourse. They can enjoy the freedom of speech and expression. If we talk about the right to information in the outside of this studio, so many of students cannot be attended or cannot be participate in their situation because that they don't have information. If they have information, you have the data, so they can participate. So this is the basic objective for which Right to Information Act was enacted, and it was enacted on 15th June 2005, and after 120 days, means on 12th October 2005, it was implemented across the country except Jammu and Kashmir. And you know, Jammu and Kashmir was the separate state. It's like separate state having different legal entities. That's why all our laws are not implemented right away in the Jammu and Kashmir. That's why 120 days was provided for the government entities to prepare themselves to know about right to information, what are the provisions are there to implement, and what are the other formalities they have to follow. That's why and fortunately today is the 12th September, right? After 1 month exactly from today, we will celebrate 17th anniversary of right to information. So I think after 17 years, many people have enjoyed that right, but many people are yet to use that act.
So, sir, can you please explain us the rationale or the motive behind the formation of the act? Like, why was it needed in the first place?
Right. As already I have just hinted about something, right to information and right to expression. So that's the one object. Its main objective is to create an informed citizenry. ओडियारे ता कहला हम सचेतन नागरिकत्वटे तयारी करिबा. That's why when we create an informed citizenry, so the democratic system will be more vibrant, will be more meaningful. All people participate in the democratic process. So there are different stages of participation in democratic setups, right? So we are voting, we are criticizing the political parties, we are criticizing the government, we are making discussions about what is right, what is good, what is do's and don'ts, right? So if all people are aware about that provisions, so they can right way participate in the democratic process. This is the one objective, that is means informed citizenry. Second objective was to make government accountable, because government runs on the people's money. We are paying tax, we are buying a biscuit, so we are also paying tax in the form of GST, in any kind of service tax, holding tax. There are many taxes through which we pay to the government, right? And government is accountable before us because government is run by us. Because as Aristotle's definition goes, the government is for the people, of the people, by the people. And that is the objective. if people are really enjoying or not. So that's the act is to make government accountable. If your parents provide you 10 rupees today, and if when you're returning your back home in the evening, your mother, your parents asking, I have given 10 rupees, how you spend? I spent 5 rupees for snacks, I 10 rupees, and 2 rupees is left with me, right? You are explaining to your parents, right? That's why the citizen have that right to ask government how you utilizing that money collected from on different forms of taxes. So this is an accountability, right? Third objective was a transparency, swachhata. Transparent. What do you mean transparent? So that glass is a transparent. What we are doing here, they are also seeing, right? And what they are doing that side, we are also watching, right? Similarly, in the government file, what the government is taking decision, how the decision making process is taken, how the government is deciding on which matters how. So people can ask, can inquire, can inspect. That's the transparency of decision making process. So government, people makes government transparent, right? If by using this act, this provision. And last is to check corruption. If all these three objectives will be fulfilled, in a other way around, the corruption level will slightly reduce. All people where the decision making process will be transparent, government will be accountable, people will participate in all forms of decision making. So otherwise around, the government will be more vibrant, more meaningful. It means a smart government. So it will be a very responsive government, right? So that's the major objectives of this act.
Can you tell us how right to information is upheld? Like, how does it work?
If we divide the act, it's a very small act, having 31 provisions all total together. So if we divide act into three parts, so it's they have three directions. One is proactive directions, second is reactive directions, and third one is the implementation. How government is prepared to implement those provisions, proactive provisions and reactive provisions. So these are three directions, right? First direction is proactive. So government, that's why when act was enacted in on 15th June, so there was the provision, the act provided 120 days the government to prepare themselves to implement the proactive provisions, right? And those provisions are basically some information, those information upheld with that government, so they need to disclose that information to the public in different forms, in different mediums like notice board, websites, through wall paintings, through using mass media, right? So there is a provision to disclose this information, and that's under section 4 of right to information, which provides proactive provisions, voluntary provision. Proactively government will do something to provide information to the government, to the citizen. And second part is the reactive part. People will ask information, government will accept that applications or receive that applications, process their applications, and intimate the public the process, like the cost of information. They will collect the cost of information because the provisions of reactive part, there is a very minimal fee is there. For application fee, it is 10 rupees, and for each page there is a 2 rupees of cost of information. Depending upon the number of pages and cost, accordingly they will calculate and inform the public to deposit that cost of information. And after 15 days with a period of time limit, the citizens have to provide those information, those costs at the proper office. Once it is deposited, government office or that public authority where we submitted our application, so from that office we can collect information. So this is the reactive part. When people submits application, government reacts to that application, collects information. Where the information is there, they locate it, then they compile it, then they draft it, then to submit, define how much pages are there. Accordingly they decide what is the cost of information, right? So this is the reactive part. The third part is, if the government is not providing information, if they're misleading information, if there is a rejection of application, so what will do? So there is a process of 3-layer system. So that is like a grievance system. If I aggrieved through that information, I am not satisfied with that information, so what I will do? So there is a 2 layers of grievance redress system. That is, one is first appellate authority. In every office there is 2 persons are there. One is public information officer, who is supposed to receive the application from the citizen, and second officer is known as first appellate authority. The ओडिया रे कहले हम ता कहूछु प्रथम अपील कर्तृपक्ष, right? तेणु लोक सूचना अधिकारी आउ प्रथम अपील कर्तृपक्ष, they are the two key persons. They are the like the first person to respond to citizen. So they are the leaders of right to information. So they are the implementers, right? So if they two people failed, if they fail to provide information, so there is another option that is called second appellate authority, and in each state the act provides formation of information commission. So we have also an information commission in the central level for the central offices. So there is a central information commission, CIC, and for the state government offices we have a Odisha information commission, where not more than 10 information commissions are supposed to be recruited or appointed, and they need to adjudicate these appeals, second appeals, complaints. If they have grievance if they receive any grievance from the public, they have to adjudicate, and they have to dispose those applications, and they can direct the government officers to provide information free of cost, and sometimes they can also impose penalty on the government officers if they fail to provide information in the right time. So in general, right to information have a time limit of 30 days. But in some kinds, like if our human rights in challenge, our human rights is going to be violated if we don't have some information, in that case government is supposed to provide in 48 hours. So there are different segments or different information for which there is a different time limits, but in general it is 30 days. So if 30 days the government office are not providing, so we have a second appellate authority. We can challenge them in the court of law, that is second appellate authority information commission. So this is the whole gamut of implementing right to information in the state of Odisha.
So just now you talked about the central and state information commission. So how they work, and how central and state both work together, or central supervises the state information commissions?
This is because they are the independent parties. They are the independent appellate authorities. There is no hierarchy. Who is below, who is the off. There is no system. But Act provide the formation of these commissions to adjudicate RTI complaints, RTI second appeals. For the state government authorities, for state government offices, those offices established by the state government, or some offices established by the constitution, but it is operated from the state land. So for those offices, state information commission will adjudicate their complaints, their second appeals. But central government offices like Ministry of Education, Ministry of Women and Child, those ministries comes under central government. So if we have some information from those central government offices, sometimes we ask information through online. Nowadays there is an online system. If those offices are denying our information, or they are not providing information on the right time, so we can seek the help of Central Information Commission. We can knock the door of Central Information Commission. This is the another part. Similarly, in state level, we have a Odisha Information Commission, where the state government offices are not providing information at the right time. We can go to the Odisha Information Commission and seek justice. So this is the two parallel, and they have a different functions. They have different duties. And they have as I already informed you, each central commission they need to have information commissioners, not more than 10. So at present in Odisha we have 5 information commissioners, 4 information commissioners, 1 is chief information commissioners. Similarly in central level we have now I think 9 central information commissioners are there, including a CIC, chief information commissioners. So they are from different backgrounds, from having outstanding contribution in sociology or social work, media, or in governance, or retired bureaucrats, retired justice. They can be appointed as information commissioners, and they will verify our applications, grievances, and accordingly they take decisions.
How can information commission stay independent when Supreme Court often cited organizations like CBI as caged parrot?
Yes, many of times we are going through televisions, newspapers. So the central agencies, or central investigative agencies are being controlled by the central government. They are not really independent as as it seems to be. But sometimes the political situation, because as India is a democratic country and it is ruled by political parties, we have a multi-party system, and in this multi-party system, whichever party forms government, so they have the ultimate power, the real power. We The power in written in the papers, it is different, and the power really executed by the people, so that is a different thing. So that's why the political parties who enjoy that power, they really control those central agencies. But so far as the provisions available in this Right to Information Act book, I don't think the Central Information Commission can be independent, because the appointment process, the selection process, if we analyze that process, so it is seems that the people who are in the good book of government, who are the blue-eyed boys of that government, so they are really appointed because they will protect their interest. That's why the selection process members, like a prime minister will be head of that selection committee, and one of the members from that ministry, there will be the member of that committee, and one is from opposition party. If opposition party member is absent, so they have the quorum, because 2 out of 3, 2 are available, so they will appoint anyone they suits or they finds suitable for their interest. So that's why I don't think, as per the present provisions available, I don't think so ki central information can be independent. Somehow in somewhere they can be compromised, I think, while taking some serious decisions on policy matters, or from to check some corruptions. That in that matter, I think they had to be compromised, by, or they came under pressure of the government, so they can't be really independent.
So, what is the basic process of filing an RTI? And can the normal people like us, like students like us, or common people, can file an RTI? And
Yes,
how?
if you are 18 years old, so you are eligible to use that act, right? So because this act provides this legal rights to all its citizens. Citizens means 18-year-old. When you have right to vote, so you have a right to know. So you can use that if in the context of student, yes, you can use that act for your academic purpose, for your if the government, if the university administration is not serious in declaring the result on right time, so you can use that information, or you can use this right to information weapon to ask the vice chancellor or registrar or the authorities who is looking after these affairs, so why this happening, why it is delayed. So you can ask him, because each university is public university or educational institution, they have public information officers, they have fast appellate authority, so you can ask them. And if you permit me, so I can give an example of one engineering student, private engineering student, how he utilized this act and get benefited by this act. So it's a short experience. So he was in the last semester of his 4th year of this his BTech exam, and he got placed at a reputed IT company. But that in that time, the private engineering college and controlled by the BPUT failed to publish that result on time. That's why his job rejected and he dismissed due to non-submission of a result or provisional certificate on right time, because the public authorities failed to provide or failed to declare that result on time. And later on he submitted application to the information authority, information officer of that university, then it went to the first appellate authority, then it went to the second appellate authority, that is information commissioner. And information commissioner adjudicated all the process, and they penalize the public information officer of the BPUT university to compensate, even though it is cannot be compensated, because he was placed with a annum of 10 lakh per annum salary and cannot be compensated in 25,000 penalties. But it was it is like a token amount of penalizing that public officer, so that in the later on he will not conduct or he will not commit that kind of mistakes. He will comply those provisions of the act. So this is a short story how student utilize that act and he get benefited. So there are numerous case studies are there where students have benefited using this right to information act. And even normal people, citizens, common men in the village, they can directly go to the Gram Panchayat office, they can submit their application, and there is a provision that Gram Panchayat office will transfer that application to the concerned authority where the information is located. So because in many times a common man is not aware about where the information is located. If I need some information relating to PDS, so where I will ask information? I need some list of PDS beneficiaries. So where I ask information? So many people are not aware about this information located in the food supply department. So that's why in food supply department there is no food supply department in the village level. So where I ask information? And that's why the act provides, so anywhere you can ask information, and that authority's responsibility is to transfer that application to the appropriate authority where your information is available. So that is the beauty of act. So it really empowers the citizen, and it is really the act where we can right to have a right to know. If I really enjoying that act, if I am getting information from the government using this act, so I will be really an empowered citizen.
We've seen officials keeping information shielded using Official Secrets Act and no data available. What are your views on it?
Because our government, it's from the colonial rule, right? We are ruled by the Britishers, and they have a law like Official Secrecy Act, because they don't want to disclose some information to the Indian people. Because if Indian people are aware, so they will raise their voice. So Indian freedom movement will be more sensitized, more more violent in here. That's why they framed that law. But unfortunately, after independence, the Indian government also adopted same line. They kept on that act to protect their interest, protect their malfunctioning, protect their malpractices, protect their corruption methods. That's why they kept that act. But in different judgments, Supreme Court and High Court have adjudicated that if there is a clash between Official Secrecy Act and Right to Information Act, so Right to Information Act will prevail on Official Secrecy Act. So it is more powerful than Official Secrecy Act. And if on the grounds of Official Secrecy Act you are denying something, you should have a very valid ground. And for the larger interest, for the public interest, where information will suffice the larger group, which will fulfill the interest of community, a community in a larger area. So in that matter, Official Secrecy Act will have no implications on that matter. So Right to Information Act will become more powerful than Official Secret.
So could you give an example of which situation it could be applied to?
Look, in Official Secrets Act, so the records, the information have been classified. So recently there is a debate relating to the Subhash Bose deaths, whether he's died in India, where he died in Japan. There is no clue, and we don't have such information. And government claims we have information. And if you have information, you showcase it, you provide, you bring those information under the purview of Right to Information Act, so that people at large can have that access to know where their son of soil gone. So, but in that case, they have classified those information on and very confidential matter. That's why Official Secrets Act classified documents on confidential, very confidential, normal, and depending on nature of the documents and information available. And on that plea, on that ground, they used to reject the information of applied under the Right to Information Act. And but if the public authority challenge, if they are knowingly not providing information, so obviously we can go to the Information Commission, where commissioner will rightly away can provide a direction to the public authority to supply information. If there the government officer failed, or if we failed that get information from that Information Commission, obviously we have a writ under the constitutional remedies under the fundamental rights, so we can right away go to the Supreme Court or High Court through a writ petition and avail our justice.
So there must be a specific time by which the Information Commission would provide the citizens with the required information. So if it fails to do that, so what is the penalty for that?
Unfortunately, there is no such time limits of disposing applications on the part of second appellate authority, that is known as Odisha Information Commissioner. That is I think the loopholes of this act. When we have a deadline for PIO to provide information within 30 days, and when we have a deadline for first appellate authority to dispose of first appellate authority within 45 days, but unfortunately we don't have such kind of time limit or deadline for information commission. That's why taking that loophole as their ground, or loophole as their benefit, taking benefit from that loophole, so there are many cases pending in the information commissioner since years. That's why the pendency is, or backlogging case is day by day it increasing, and on the due deadline we are not unable to dispose of that cases. That is the real worry of this act. So that should be amended by the government as soon as possible to make this act more more tight, more powerful. So otherwise it will be a toothless tiger.
There are many famous RTI activists, and they often bear the wrath of the government for fighting for the RTI rights. What can be done to protect them?
We all can seek information because there are few, so we can counter few, right? We are hardly, if we compare the annual reports of Information Commission and compare the annual reports of Central Information Commission, we find per year around 13,000, 15,000 in central level. There is 1,35,000 applications are there. In Odisha there is 35,000. We have 4.5 crore people, but how many applications are being filed? Many of students are there here, so they have never filed an RTI application. So you compare that. So out of 100, maybe one people is using right to information. That's why RTI activists are asking information on the part or on the benefits or on the behalf of people. That's why the corrupt people are targeting those right to information activists or RTI activists. We can take an example, village community where the citizens are many, but 1-2 people are asking information, and that too are being targeted. If all people will file applications, so the corrupt people or the contractor, how can they will silent or make target those people? So it is now it's the time to create awareness among the people, so that all people can be able to file RTI application for their benefits, for their personal problems, and at large for their social problems.
So what, according to you, can be done to make the information more accessible to the citizens?
If it's the duty of the government, right? So government need to be very open, very responsive, and they should have a motive. Should be a motive to disclose. If I don't want to disclose, so there is nobody I can pressurize me to disclose, right? So I can keep my mouth shut up, right? So if I am really I feel I should speak, I should share this information, so obviously I will share. That's why the government, if they implement the section 4, that is proactive disclosure and volunteer disclosure part, so 90% problems will be solved there, because maximum information are there. Citizens can seek information from that. And another part is they should be very serious. If they are really want to make this act be beneficial for citizen, that need to comply all provisions of this act as soon as possible.
What can we students do or common people do to raise awareness about the RTI Act in the society?
Let's see. In Delhi, there is 2-3 university students. They have formed different groups. They are visiting from one slum to another slum, one village to another village, through street play, through slogans, through banners, posters. They are raising awareness level of people. So if like-minded people, if like-minded students will come together and they committed, yes, we will do something, and we will create awareness among our fraternity first. We'll sensitize first our students, then we will sensitize our teachers, then we will sensitize our other on-teaching staff of this university, then we will sensitize the people of this city, then we will sensitize the people of the state. Obviously, slowly and gradually we will spread our wings to cover all the territory of the country. So this is student power have a greater power. So if students are committed to do something, obviously they can change that, and they can be change agent.
So, from this whole meaningful interaction with our guest, we discovered a deeper outlook and a varied perspective about the Right to Information Act. It has both the pros and cons, but the effectiveness of law is solely dependent on its transparent implementation, and it can be achieved through coordination between the government and its citizens and their accountability towards the country. So I thank our guest, Mr. Manoranjan Panda, for his valuable time and knowledge. And with this, I, RJ Arpita,
And I, RJ Rojalini, signing off. Stay tuned to Radio Ravenshaw 90.4 FM. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
जी हाँ दोस्तों, आप सुन रहे हैं 90.4 एफएम रेवेंस रेडियो, उड़ीसा का पहला कैंपस कम्युनिटी रेडियो स्टेशन।